Yes, I know.
Oh, must be Joe.
Hey, Les, not too many of our group is left, are there?
I don't know where they all go, Joe.
Yeah, I think you and I and maybe one or two people left.
Hey, should we start breakfast again?
Yes, I think that's a good idea.
Realize, Joe, 20 years ago.
It was a long time, but we used to have breakfast every week.
That's right.
We have lunch almost every week.
Yep. Oh, yeah, and we used to have a guest speaker, and we have at least 100 people every time.
Oh, minimum. It was much more than that.
Elaine, how are you? I'm so sorry to hear about your brother.
Thank you. I'm okay. I'm okay. I got to FaceTime with him the day before he died.
Oh, good.
That's
Not
good.
knowing that it was going to happen. So that was wonderful.
Not knowing that it was going to happen?
No, I expected him to come home from the hospital.
Oh.
I'm not really sure what happened. He had a heart attack during the night and then he was on a ventilator and my sister-in-law took him off of it right away. So
Local?
I'll probably never know.
So
Sorry, Elaine.
Yeah,
Sorry, Elaine.
sorry. So sorry.
How are you, Lane?
I'm doing okay.
Oh, good.
I just got home and misplaced my keys and my neighbor had to let me in. Rushed upstairs.
Who's that?
Bobby. Hi, Bobby.
I have a friend that
Hi.
wants to get on and I gave her the link, but she just sent me an email that she doesn't know if she's going to make it. So if you see a strange face, that's her.
Cheers, Nancy.
Hi.
Elaine, sorry about your loss.
Got your
Elaine, lean back. You're too close to the camera. Lean back.
Who is?
Renee.
I'm just getting into it, kid. I'm just.
Gotta push all the right
Give me a minute for crying out.
I know I heard your voice, but I didn't see you. Now I see you.
Start a nigun.
Everybody
Yum diddy diddy die 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 yum diddy diddy die 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 yum diddy diddy
Die, die, die.
yum diddy diddy die die.
They're not getting the message.
Die die
Die, 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 die.
yum
Diddy,
diddy
diddy, die, die, die. Yum, diddy, diddy, die, die, die.
die 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 die.
Yum, diddy, diddy, die, die, die. Yum, diddy, diddy, die, die. Yum, diddy, diddy, die, 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 die.
Die, 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 die. You could just exit out of it.
You're spotlighted.
Okay.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Good Shabbos, everyone. Shabbat shalom. Happy Adar. It is Rosh Chodesh Adar, the new month. And Gang Hefa Choi. Happy Chinese New Year, the year of the ox, Shnat HaPar in Hebrew. I'm not sure what that means, but they sacrificed a lot of oxen in the temple, so maybe that's a good thing. I don't know how many of you planned ahead. We are having Chinese food for dinner, so we're looking forward to that. And it makes us happy because when we enter into Adar, Mishenichnas Adar Marbin B'Simcha, we enter Adar and our joy is increased. As I talked about, I believe last Shabbat, not simply because it happens naturally, but because we work on our joy. And so it is a chance for us to enter into Shabbat with a lot of simcha, a lot of joy. So I hope that you're singing along at home, you're feeling the joy, and I will try to come up maybe with some better one-liners or jokes than last time. Since I got some criticism, constructive criticism, and so I'll work on.
You mean groans?
I've groaned since then, so Hopefully my humor will get better. All right, so we're going to start. We're going to start with a rabbi, chazan, president of the synagogue joke. So it's Yom Kippur, and the chazan is really davening beautifully. He's into the davening so well, and he gets to the point where you make the full prostration down to the ground, and he makes the full prostration down to the ground, and he says, God, before you I am nothing. And the rabbi is so moved by the chazan's heartfelt prayers that he gets down on the ground next to the chazan, and he says, God, before you I am nothing. And the president, who's on the bima, is so moved by the two clergy that are so overwhelmed by the power of the day and the prayer that the president gets down on the ground, and she lies on the ground and she says, God, before you I am nothing. And the rabbi turns to the chazan and he says, look who thinks she's a nothing. At least the chazan thought it was funny. I hope you're laughing at home. It's a classic.
I'm laughing. I'm laughing.
It's in the timing, isn't it?
Yes. I thought you were going to say it's in the Talmud. It's not that old. All right. We continue on page 10 with Yedid Nefesh.
Yedid Nefesh Avad Rachaman Meshoch Avdach Eretzonach Yarutz Avdach Kemo Hayal Yishtachave mul hadarach ki yerav lo yedidutach mino fetzuf vechol tam Adonai Ziv haolam nafshi cholat avatach ana el naref panala beharod la noam zivach אז תתחזק ותתרפא והייתה לך שבחת עולם.
Continue on page 11. Lechu neranena.
לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה לאדוני, לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה לאדוני. נריע נריע לצור ישנו, נקדמה פנה בתודה. נריע נריע לצור ישנו, Bizmirot narialot.
Turn ahead to page 14. 14 at the triangle. Yismechu hashamayim.
Honey, just look at that cream and tell me if it's good enough. It's in that measuring cup.
Yismechu hashamayim v'tagel haaretz. Yiram hayam, yiram hayam. Yiram hayam, Amlo, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Amlo.
Page 20, 3 lines from the bottom. We continue. Romemu.
Romemu, Adonai Eloheinu, ve'ishtachavu. Lehar kocho, Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu. Lehar kocho, ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu.
Page 23, Folechadodi. We'll do verses 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, and 9.
Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, panei Shabbat nikabela, Lecha lecha nadi nikrat gala. Panei panei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad. Hishmi'anu el ha'meyuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad. L'shem u'livered v'lidgila la 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 lecha lecha dodi. Nikrat kala. Panei panei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha lecha dodi. Nikrat kala. Panei panei Shabbat nikabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha. Mikur haberacha. Merosh mikedem nesucha. Somase b'macha Shabbat echilai la lecha lecha dodi. Likrat kala. Panei panei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha lecha dodi. Likrat kala. Panei panei Shabbat nikabela. Migdash melech ir melucha. Komi etzihi mitoch avecha. Rav lak shevet be'mekabecha. Vehu yagmol ala yichev laila lecha lecha dodi. Likrat kala. Panei panei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha lecha dodi. Likrat
kala. Panei Shabbat nikabela. Verse 4.
Itna ari me'afar kumi. Livshi bigdei tifartecha hami. Al yad ben Yishai bet halachmi. Korva el nafshi ge'ala la lecha dodi. Likrat kala. Panei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi. Likrat kala.
Panei Shabbat nikabela. Verse 8.
Yamin usmol tifrotzi. Vehet Adonai taritzi. Al yadi sheben parti. Veniz mecha v'nagi la lecha dodi. Likrat kala. Panei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi. Likrat kala. Panei Shabbat
nikabela. We rise, we face the entrance to whichever room we are in to welcome in the Shabbat bride. The final verse on page 25.
Boi v'shalom ateret
bala. Gam
besimcha
u'betzahla. Toch emunei
am segula. Boi
chala. Lecha dodi. Likrat kala. Panei
Shabbat
nikabela.
Lecha
dodi. Likrat kala. Panei Shabbat
nikabela.
You can be seated. We continue in a moment on page 27. But first, I don't know if you heard, but a rabbi once got into an accident while driving over a bottle of wine to a congregant who needed a bottle of wine for Kiddush. And who should he get in an accident with but the local Irish priest, his friend, the local Irish priest. And so they get out of the car. Are you okay? Yes, thank God. Oh, are you okay? Yes. Oh, thank God. Thank God. Thank God. A lot of thank Gods. Okay. They check out. The cars aren't too bad, but there's some damage there. And the rabbi turns to the priest and he says, I was on my way to deliver this Kiddush wine, you'd call it sacramental wine, to a congregant who needed it to make Kiddush, to make a blessing over the upcoming holiday. And, it's a miracle. We got in this accident and the bottle of wine didn't break. I think that, even though it's for this person, they wouldn't mind if we just had a little drink. We say toast to l'chaim, to life. You'd say, a toast, cheers. Thank God for our saving us from this accident. And the priest says, okay, it's not a bad idea. The rabbi produces 2 cups, pours some wine into the cups and says, to your health and to our lives. And the priest does the same thing. And the priest downs the wine and the rabbi's just standing there. And the priest says, aren't you going to drink, to life, like you said, l'chaim? And the rabbi says, yeah, in a couple of minutes after the police get here. Ba-dum-bum. We continue on page 20. Now, you don't like that one?
Oh,
I see some heads shaking. Sorry. They're not all winners. Some are groaners. Page 27. Mizmor Shir, the Psalm for Shabbat.
Mizmor Shir leYom HaShabbat.
Tov lehodot
Adonai. Ulezamer leShimcha Elyon. Ulezamer leShimcha Elyon. Lehagid babokir chazdecha. ואמונתך מללות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בכינור, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון.
Please continue privately through the bottom of page 28.
עודנו בשיבה דשנים ורעננים יהיו להגיד כי אשר אדוני סורי ולא עוולת בו.
Page 29.
אדוני לבש אדוני עושית זר עבדי גם תבל בלתימור. עדותיך נמנו מאוד לבית גנב הקודש אדוני לאורך ימים.
Those in mourning, those observing yahrzeit, please rise and join me in sanctifying God's name with the mourner's Kaddish, page 30. If you're on Zoom and you'd like, you can unmute your microphone so that we all say the Kaddish together. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Rabba. Ve'alma divrach chutei v'yamlich malachutei v'chayechon v'yomechon v'yidchol beit Yisrael v'agalau v'zman karim v'ru amen Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach v'alam u'mei u'maya yiparach v'yishtabach v'tzbar v'yitnam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha b'richu Leila minkol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata v'amiran b'yamav Amen. Yehi shlama v'shmaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom limromav uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Please rise if you're able to for the Baruch Hu. We're on page 39a.
Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la la la. Yai la 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 la.
Yai la 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 la. Yai la la la.
Yai la 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 la. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed.
Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed.
You can be seated. We continue privately first in the Hebrew and then we'll join together in the English. Baruch atah Adonai Hashem. Please join with me in the English in the far left-hand column where it says, God in nature and interpretive translation. Beloved are you, eternal God, by whose design the evening falls, by whose command dimensions open up, and eons pass away, and stars spin in their orbits. You set the rhythms of day and night. The alternation of light and darkness sings your creating word. In rising sun and in spreading dusk, creator of all, you are made manifest. Eternal, everlasting God, May we always be aware of your dominion. Beloved are you, Adonai, for this hour of nightfall.
מבדיל יום ולילה, מבדיל בין יום ובין לילה נצבות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך הלילה ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני,
Shema.
המרי והרבי.
Amen. We continue on page 40 as we sing Ahavat Olam.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, ושוכבנו ובקומנו, נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו לאורך ימינו, ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה, ואהבתך תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם למענך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
Please continue privately through the bottom of page 42.
Adonai Elohechem emet.
Please continue privately on page 43, A or B. We continue together in the English on 43b. You proclaimed the covenant of the seventh day. You declared it and decreed it. We listened and heard it. You loved this day we inherited, delighting in its remembrance, and began its command with the word, remember Zachor. From the time you bestowed it, joy filled the hearts of Jeshurun, the people you redeemed, securing the cause of righteousness. You exalted Shabbat as a sign between us forever. In 6 days your world was formed. On the seventh day you rested. And on this day Israel, your people, rest. To honor your name, they sing songs of praise to the one deserving of praise. We continue, page 44, Micha Mocha.
You know what, Rabbi? That reminds me of a joke.
Okay, you may.
So the rabbi, retired rabbi, is going golfing, and he's having one of the best game of golfs he's ever had. And up in heaven is God with the angels, and they're looking down at him and they're saying, I can't believe, the angels are saying, God, I can't believe that rabbi is golfing on Yom Kippur. He's having one of the best games of golf he's ever had. Hole in one on par threes. He's getting par twos on a par five. He is hitting crazy. And the angels are arguing with God. How can you let this man have one of the best days of golf on Yom Kippur? And God looks at him and he says, who's he going to tell?
A classic. A classic. Sorry.
It's a classic.
It's
I just know the old ones. Okay. With that,
I'm going to come up with a chazan joke. We'll see. Page 44, Micha Mocha.
ומלכות טוב רצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים ובני ישראל לכנו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם.
מיכה מוכה באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות O Seifel Nora Tehilot O Seifel Malchutecha Rahuvanecha Bokei Hayam Lifnei Moshe Zeilianu ve'amru, Zeilianu ve'amru, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed.
כי בדר את יעקב, גלום יד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גל ישראל.
Amen. We continue on page 45. We sing together Hashkivenu, the evening prayer for peace.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום ועמידנו מלכנו לחיים ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום ועמידנו מלכנו לחיים ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ברוך אתה אדוני הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עם ישראל ועל ירושלים.
And we continue on page 46. Please stand if you're able. Page 46, we sing together V'shamru.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. היי 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 ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש וביום השביעי שבת ויהי
נפש. חצי קדיש.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
אמן.
ועלמא דברה קירותי וימליך מלכותי.
וחייך
יומך
וחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה
ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן.
אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם נעלמי יומיה יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמע וקודשה
בריחו
לילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה
תושבחתה ונחמתה בעלמא. Amen. You can be seated for a minute. We take this opportunity to share with the community what we're grateful for, what we're thankful for, something good that happened this past week, or something good you're looking forward to in the coming week, so we can all share in the simcha and the joy of good things happening in our community. The easiest way for us to recognize you is if you can raise your hand electronically. There's a new way to do that. I think you can just press Alt-Y I believe, and works on some devices to raise your hand. The raise your hand is apparently no longer in the participant window. It is now under the reactions button. So if you look at the bottom of your viewing pane, there's a button on the right because it says reactions, and there should be, if you click on that, should be an option to raise hand. So if you raise your hand that way, then Susan can spotlight you for our everyone. And if you unmute your microphone, you can share whatever you'd like to share.
Just like Helene just did.
Perfect. Thank you for being a good role model, Helene.
I'm just grateful that after a week of feeling awful post-Moderna vaccine, I'm finally turning the corner.
Oh, good. Good, good. And God willing, good, strong immunity. All right. Elaine Friedman.
Unmute yourself, Elaine. I know.
There we go.
Go ahead.
I just want to say, in spite of not a good week, the good part is that I had the support of my family and my friends. Thank you very much, all of you.
Amen. Amen. And Bill Silver.
I have to send her.
I am thankful that I'm scheduled to get my second Pfizer shot on Wednesday, and I got an email yesterday telling me that I didn't have to make an appointment. All I had to do is show up and show my little card. So the stress of making an appointment is no longer an issue.
That's very nice to hear. And we're digging the locks.
Okay, I'm looking for hands.
Or you can also wave your hand furiously in front of your camera and hope
You
that.
muted yourself. I have nothing to say.
Huh?
I think that Diane wanted Amos to say something. Go ahead, Amos and Diane.
You have to say it.
Oh, you have to.
So say something.
What?
I told you.
No.
Oh, he doesn't want to. Okay,
Okay.
whatever. I'm just thankful that everybody is fine, and sorry to hear about your brother Elaine, and I'm sure you have a lot of good memories, childhood plus, and that's the best thing that we have left when things like this happen, and it's very hard, and especially at this time, but I'm sure you'll be fine with family support.
Thank you, Diane and Amos. It's like in person when the wives make the husbands do stuff.
Burton, Elaine, Margolis, are you trying to raise your hand, or are you just trying to tell us you like what other people are saying? Is the thumbs?
Trying to raise my hand.
Okay.
You gave us a thumbs up. Here you go. Bert,
Well, there's
go
no
ahead.
hand here. I'm thankful that we're both finished with our second shot for the virus.
Mazel tov.
Mazel
Now we're
tov.
going to throw parties and everything.
You throw parties and nobody will come.
And nobody, we won't bite anybody either.
Yeah.
Did you have any side effects?
No.
None at all.
That's
In
good.
fact, I asked
A
about
little
it.
sore arm.
That's all. Very little. And I
That's
do love your locks.
Oh,
good.
it'll be gone after I get my vaccine and I feel safe going to the barber.
Very nice.
Bill, did you want to say something else?
No, no.
Okay, then we have Jim Bischoff.
Hi, Gonzalez. So I feel obligated to tell a joke on behalf of former presidents and presidents on this thing. Is that okay?
Sure.
So a rabbi, a cantor, and a temple president were on safari, and they were captured by cannibals. And they were in the cauldron ready to get boiled, and the cannibal said, "We always give each of you a last wish." So they said to the cantor, "What's your wish?" He said, "I want to sing the great Kol Nidre of all time that shakes the heavens and causes God to listen." And the rabbi says,
Can I do my part?
"No."
I want to. I want to give.
I want to give the greatest sermon that's ever been given, that the rabbi calls all the angels to stop what they're doing and listen to this sermon. So they turn to the temple president Then he took, what would you like? He says, kill me before they start.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh,
חטא שחטאנו לפניך. על חטא שחטאנו לפניך.
a classic, another classic.
Okay. So now we have Frank Steinschreiber.
Actually, Julie.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go
That's
ahead,
okay. We're
Julie.
both here.
So yesterday, one of our grandsons, who's 8, had a pupil-free day from school, and we had some Zoom with him. So I like to play Boggle, and we used technology. I took a picture. We shook up the Boggle, the letters, took a picture, gave it to him. We taught him how to split his screen. We played Boggle. The first round, I beat him by a point. By the second round, the kid had never played before. He beat me. So here goes the game I'm good at to beat.
8 years old are good.
He's a
Okay.
genius.
Yeah. Sign that kid up for Boggle Camp.
Well, it was good to hang out with him for an hour and a half by ourselves without parental interference.
Joe, I see you raising your hand. Go ahead.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, I saw you raising your hand.
Okay, well, in the mode of the rabbi about wishing a happy new year to the Chinese, there's a cute joke about this Hasidic Jew who is walking down and he walks into this Chinese restaurant, and up the hill, his rabbi sees him going into the restaurant. Anyways, the rabbi follows to the restaurant, looks in the window, and he sees the Hasidic Jewish man ordering food. Can't believe what he's doing. And then the food comes out and he starts to eat. And the rabbi can't take it anymore. So he walks inside the restaurant and says, Moshe, what is with you? What are you doing? He says, Rabbi, listen, did you see me walk into the restaurant? He says, yes. Did you see me order the food? He says, yes. Did you see me eat the food? He said, yes. Well, that's under rabbinic supervision.
Good one.
Very nice, Joe.
All right. Phil, do you have a joke or are you blessing for something?
No, I'm celebrating today. Today is my young son's 34th birthday, my youngest child.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
I got out a video that was made when my mom passed, and I was looking through it, and it had all of his pictures from the time he was a little boy all the way up through his adulthood. And so it's just a happy occasion. I'm celebrating my son's birthday today.
Beautiful.
Mazel tov.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I have one.
Who said that?
That Shayna.
Shayna,
I've
where
got
are you?
I'm here, but I've got a really quick joke.
Okay, here you are. Oh, go ahead. I'll spotlight you. Go ahead.
So Mrs. Schwartz comes to shul one Shabbos, and she's in such a good mood. She's so happy. And her girlfriend says, Nancy, you're usually such a downer. Why are you so happy? Why are you so excited? She says, Mildred, I'm having an affair. And then Mildred says to her, so who's the caterer?
Boom. Okay. On that note, hopefully you're feeling some extra joy now and certainly some appreciation. We'll pray the Amidah privately, 47 to 52 in the Siddur. It is also Rosh Chodesh, as I mentioned. So there's a special additional prayer, Ya'alev Yavo, on page 50. If you're in the prayer book, you can use the Hebrew, the English, or take the next few minutes for your own private meditations.
Na 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 Adonai, ha na 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 tzvatai tita, ha na 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 ufi yagid tehilatecha.
Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu,
Ve'al kol
Yisrael.
Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Maseh aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael.
If you're still praying Namidah, please continue at your own pace. We continue on page 54, Kaddish Shalem.
יתקרא ויתקרא שמי רבה.
Amen.
ועלמא דברה קירותי ויבליג מלכותי בחייכון ויומכון וחייך בית ישראל. בעגלה ובזמן גנים ואימרו אמן.
Amen. Yesh meraba mevora, ve'alam yal me'al maya barach.
ידבר וידבר ויתפא ויתנא ונשא ותעבד כלל שמי קודשה. בריחו לאלה מכל ברכתה ושירתה ותשבחתה ונחמתה תמירן ועלמא ואימרו אמן.
Amen.
תתקבל שלא תהון ובתהון בכל ישראל כל דם והון מנשמיה ואימרו אמן.
Amen.
יהי שלום הרב את שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואימרו אמן.
Amen.
עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל וכל יושבי תבל ויהי ברום.
Amen. So it's my pleasure to introduce our guest darshan this evening. We are continuing in our wonderful tradition of having guest darshanim, and tonight we get to hear from Ron Robinson. So it's my pleasure to invite him to be spotlighted and share his Torah with us.
Is that okay? Can you hear me?
Perfect. Perfect.
Okay. Very good. I feel like I should have some jokes. Sorry about that. So our Torah portion for this week concerns various social and civil laws called mishpatim. The Hebrew word mishpatim means rules or judgments. Now that the Jews have received the 10 Commandments at Mount Sinai in last week's Parsha Yitro and accepted the Torah, God teaches them the laws that are part of this Torah. In this Parsha, we learn about 53 mitzvot out of a total of 613, 23 imperative commandments and 30 prohibitions that God commands the Jews. So this Parsha is basically a list of things you got to do and can't do. Here are 8 main headings for these 53 mitzvot and a very brief comment for each heading. And remember, these were given a long time ago. So some of the language, you'll have to, I think you can find some intent in modern day times, but some of the language is based on thousands of years old. First heading, servants. The Torah gives very exact instructions about how one should treat his servant. When you have a Hebrew servant, he shall serve 6 years, and in the 7th be freed. When someone strikes a slave with a rod and he dies, the striker must be punished. When anyone strikes a slave's eye or tooth, the slave shall be set free. Heading number 2, crimes against others. The punishment for murder, kidnapping, and hitting or cursing one's parents is the death penalty. Yeah, the teen years must have been brutal in those days. When there is a quarrel and one strikes another, the one who strikes shall go unpunished, except he must pay for the sufferer's cure. Heading number 3, misbehaving animals. What happens if somebody's ox goes wild and kills somebody? Is the owner responsible? When an ox gores someone, it shall be put to death and not eaten. If the ox is known to gore people and does so, then the ox and the owner shall be put to death. Next heading, taking care of someone else's stuff. If someone else's property is in our possession, we have to do everything we can to take care of it. When a man gives money or goods to another for safekeeping and they are stolen, then the thief shall pay double when caught. Next heading, laws for courts and judging. Never testify falsely against somebody. You shall accept no bribes, for bribery blinds the clear-sighted and turns the words of the righteous to falsehood. Heading number 6, Shemitah and the holidays. For 6 years, we can work on the land, prepare the land, plant seeds, take care of the plants, and harvest the fruits and vegetables. But the 7th year, called Shemitah, we must give the land a break and not do any work on it. 7th heading, meat and milk. Simply that we keep meat and milk separate. And finally, different ways we must be nice. The Torah demands that we be extra nice to strangers, widows, and orphans. These defenseless people especially deserve our kindness. It is this last area that I would like to pursue further this morning. Let's return to the idea of mishpatim, or judgments, if you will. The underlying impetus for these social rules was to help us live a sanctified life. In other words, the mishpatim were connected with ideas of rebuke and correction for the good of the community. Holiness is not simply a matter of personal purity, but involves the entire community. We share one another's burdens, and that includes one another's sins. We were created to be social beings, part of a great community of love. There are moral obligations between ourselves and others, as well as moral obligations between ourselves and God. These obligations, I believe, are really two sides of the same coin, with the common term being the duty to love or to care for ourselves and one another. In other words, having a good neshama or empathy for our fellow beings. There's a very poignant story about a young American living in Japan to study Aikido. And he was sitting one afternoon in a train in the suburbs of Tokyo. The carriage was half empty. There were some mothers with children and elderly people going shopping. Then at one of the stations, the doors open and a man staggered into the carriage, shouting, drunk, dirty, and aggressive. He started cursing the people and lunged at a woman holding a baby. The blow hit her and sent her into the lap of an elderly couple. They jumped up and ran to the other end of the carriage. This angered the drunk, who went after them, grabbing a metal pole and trying to wrench it out of its socket. It was a dangerous situation, and the young student readied himself for a fight. Before he could do so, however, a small elderly man in his 70s, dressed in a kimono, shouted, "Hey," to the drunk in a friendly manner, "come here and talk to me." The drunk came over as if in a trance. "Why should I talk to you?" he said. "What have you been drinking?" asked the old man. "Sake," he said, "and it's none of your business." "Oh, that's wonderful," said the old man. "You see, I love sake too. Every night, me and my wife, she's 76, you know, we warm up a little bottle of sake and take it out into the garden, and we sit on an old wooden bench. We watch the sun go down, and we look to see how our persimmon tree is doing. My great-grandfather planted that tree." As he continued talking, gradually the drunk's face began to soften, and his fists slowly unclenched. "Yes," he said, "I love persimmons too. And I'm sure," said the old man, smiling, "you have a wonderful wife." "No," replied the drunk, "my wife died." Gently, he began to sob. "I don't got no wife. I don't got no home. I don't got no job. I'm so ashamed of myself." Tears rolled down his cheeks. As the train arrived at the student stop and he was leaving the train, he heard the old man sighing sympathetically. My, this is a difficult predicament indeed. Sit down here and tell me about it. In the last glimpse he saw of them, the drunk was sitting with his head in the old man's lap. The man was softly stroking his hair. What he had sought to achieve by muscle, the old man had achieved with kind words. A story like this illustrates the power of empathy, of seeing the world through someone else's eyes, entering into their feelings, and of acting in such a way as to let them know that they are understood, that they are heard, and that they matter. If there is one command above all others that speaks of the power and significance of empathy, it is the line in this week's Parsha. You shall not oppress a stranger, for you know the heart of the stranger. You were strangers in the land of Egypt. Why this command? The need for empathy surely extends way beyond strangers. It applies to marriage partners, parents and children, neighbors, colleagues at work, and so on. Empathy is essential to human interaction generally. Why then evoke it specifically about strangers? The answer is that empathy is strongest in groups where people identify with each other: family, friends, clubs, gangs, religions, or races. The corollary to this is that the stronger the bond within the group, the sharper the suspicion and fear of those outside the group. It is easy to love your neighbor as yourself. It is very hard indeed, or even feel empathy for a stranger. Fear of the one not like us is capable of disabling the empathy response. That is why this specific command is so life-changing. Not only does it tell us to empathize with the stranger because you know what it feels like to be in his or her place, it even hints that this was part of the purpose of the Israelites' exile in Egypt in the first place. It is as if God had said, your sufferings have taught you something of immense importance. You have been oppressed, therefore come to the rescue of the oppressed, whoever they are. You have suffered, therefore you shall become the people who are there to offer help when others are suffering. And so it has proved to be. There were Jews helping Gandhi in his struggle for Indian independence. There were Jews helping Martin Luther King in his efforts for civil rights for African Americans. There were Jews helping Nelson Mandela in his campaign to end apartheid in South Africa. An Israeli medical team is usually one of the first to arrive whenever and wherever there is a natural disaster today. The religious response to suffering is to use it to enter into the mindset of others who suffer. Empathy is structured into the way the Torah tells certain stories about Hagar and Ishmael when they are sent away into the desert, about Esau when he enters his father's presence to receive his blessing only to find that Jacob has taken it, and about Leah's feelings when she realizes that Jacob loves Rachel more. These stories force us into recognizing the humanity of the other, the seemingly unloved, unchosen, rejected. Indeed, it may be that this is why the Torah tells us these stories in the first place. The Torah is essentially a book of law. Why then contain narrative at all? Because law without empathy equals justice without compassion. Law without empathy equals justice without compassion. Empathy is not a lightweight, touchy-feely add-on extra to the moral life. It is an essential element in conflict resolution. People who have suffered pain often respond by inflicting pain on others. The result is violence, sometimes emotional, sometimes physical, at times directed against individuals, and at other times against whole groups. The only genuine, nonviolent alternative is to enter into the pain of the other in such a way as to ensure that the other knows that he, she, or they have been understood and that their humanity has been recognized and that their dignity has been affirmed. My wife's favorite quote comes from the book, The Little Prince. This quote so simply and eloquently summarizes the intent of this particular commandment that we just reviewed. Many of you, I am certain, have read or heard this quote before. It goes like this. And now here's my secret, a very simple secret. It is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. Not everyone can do what the elderly Japanese man did, and certainly not everyone should try disarming a potentially dangerous individual that way. But active empathy is life-changing, not only for you, but for the people with whom you interact. Instead of responding with anger to someone else's anger, try to understand where the anger might be coming from. In general, if you seek to change anyone's behavior, you have to enter into their mindset, see the world through their eyes, and try to feel what they are feeling, and then say the word or do the deed that speaks to their emotions, not yours. It's not easy. Very few people do this. Those who do change the world. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Yasher Koach. Ron, beautiful,
Yasher Koach.
beautiful words about empathy. We can definitely all use some more reminders about empathy and understanding, and walking a mile or more in another person's shoes before judging them. Thank you. It is also anniversary Shabbat. We want to wish a happy anniversary to a number of couples here. I hope that a couple of couples are with us on Zoom. So this month, celebrating in February, celebrating 15 years are John and Randy Kafer. They're also going to be celebrating Samantha's bat mitzvah next Shabbat. So they celebrated their anniversary a couple days ago. So Mazal Tov to the Kafers. Celebrating 27 years, there was Dave and Nancy Perrin, also a couple of days ago. So Mazal Tov to Dave and Nancy. Celebrating 30 years, Grant Goshen and Russell Lyon. Mazal Tov to them, also a couple of days ago. Celebrating 36, double high, JP and Sherry Wolk, also a couple of days ago. So Mazal Tov to them. Celebrating, I just want to make sure I'm going in the number order here. Celebrating 49 years are Jack and Barbara Zaffron. That's today. Hey, Mazal Tov. Happy anniversary. Celebrating 50, their golden anniversary about 10 days ago. Chaim and Esther Tzur. So Mazal Tov on their golden anniversary. Celebrating 57 years, Stuart and Barbara Mesnick, coming up next week. So Mazal Tov to them. And our grand prize winners tonight are celebrating tonight 64 years of marriage, Marvin and Eileen Abrams. So Mazal Tov to them, 64 years. Amazing. So we want to wish you, are any of you on Zoom with us?
The parents are.
We are. Parents are. Wait, I'm finding you, Dave. Here we go.
There we are. Any words of wisdom after 27 years?
Savlanut.
That's an inside joke for the meditators.
You have to come to meditation if you want to know that.
Really?
What, you want words of wisdom?
Words of wisdom on 27 years.
So good at words of wisdom.
Or stares of
your
wisdom.
best friend.
Oh, there you go.
That was very nice. Thank you.
I know you just saying, yes, dear. Is that what you're saying, Nancy?
He's good at that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, dear.
He even cleaned out a part of the den for me so that I could now reach the blind to turn it down so it doesn't disturb Zoom. So it was very nice.
It only took 27 years. That's amazing.
Well,
No, it took 27 years to accumulate the crap that was bad.
Well, in honor of all of our February anniversaries, we offer you the following blessing. Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak Yaakov, Imotenu Sarah Rivka Rachel Leah. May God who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. Bless all who celebrated anniversaries this month of February, who are giving gratitude to God for all their many years together. May God bless and protect them. May God continue to give them the blessings in many years to come, seeing that they always live together in joy and gladness, in peace and companionship. And we all say, Amen.
Happy anniversary
to you. Happy anniversary to you. Happy
anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary
to you, and many more. Please rise if you're able for Aleinu. We're on page 56.
עלינו לשבח לדון
הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו גילויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות אדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לבני מלך, מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומה שמגרו בשמיים ממעל, ושינתו זו בגובה מרומים. הוא אלוהינו הינוד, אמת מלכנו וזולתו, כך כתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך. כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, והשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת עינו, על כן נקווה לך אדוני, להעביר להם את הכלבות שלו, כי להד שבת. יברכו שם.
כתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר,
והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. You can be seated. In love, remember those who no longer walk this earth. We're grateful to God for the gift of their lives, for the joys we shared, and for the cherished memories that never fade. This week, we'll mark the yahrzeits of Denise Aguis, Saul Aronel, Salvador Barocas, Earl Berman, Lillian Brash, Joseph Bromberg, Beverly Cherub, Harriet Coben, Samuel Isikowitz, Lena Leah Epstein, Sylvia Esmond, Marcy Gorelick, Sandra Joan Goshen, Harry Goldberg, Melvin Goldman, Olga Damaris Gostinsky, Beverly Savan Gould, Judy Gould, Robert Hankoff, Betty Hurst, Natalie Cantor, Sarah Katz, Philip Cates, Joan Kurz, Sarah May Lasky, William Leventhal, Henrietta Lucian, Marilyn Marcus, Herman Miller, Yoav Pantilat, Sylvia Perkins, Bertram Pistol, Lillian Ratner, Leonard Rosen, Sarah Rosen, Steve Rossoff, Max Rubin, Rana Salvi, Bernard Schwartz, Helena Lee Schwed, Bessie Solitrin, Clara Steinberg, Alex Steinberg, Virginia Steinberg, Alice Steinfeld, Norman Stern, Bert Strauss, Lawrence Weinstein, Pauline Weinstein, Robert Wankart, Josephine Wei Kang, Herbert Wiseman, and Stanley Zeitlin. And this week we mark the passing of Nicholas Einfeld, the brother of Elaine Friedman. Are there any other yahrzeits being observed this week that I missed? Then I invite those in mourning and those observing yahrzeits to please rise and join me in sanctifying God's name with the words of the Mourner's Kaddish on page 58. And if you're joining us through Zoom and you'd like, you can unmute your microphones now so that we can all say the Mourner's Kaddish together. Page 58. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי וחייכון ויומכון וחיי דכל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבא מבורך לעולם ולעולמי. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילם ננקום ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה ואמירן בעלמה ויאמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבא מן שמיא חיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל אמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל אמרו amen. You can be seated. It's my pleasure to turn things over to the president of TRZ and our Zoom Gabbai for the evening, Susan Luckenbill.
Thank you, Rav Sela, and thank you, Chazan Friedman. I'd heard that first joke before, and it struck me that you turned the he to a she, and I was really honored to be the recipient of the punchline. Thank you for that.
Just keeping it contemporary, Susan.
Yes, I love it. It is, I've arrived. Thank you, and Yasher Koach, Ron Robinson, on your beautiful drash. And I really appreciate our congregants taking parts in our services. And I hope that more of you will take a lesson from what Ron did tonight and participate like that. And Mazal Tov to our February brides and grooms. Join Chazan tomorrow morning at 8:30 for some practice of midot. It might be savlanut or Chazan. What else? What else might be?
We're at bitachon, which is trust. Bitachon.
Trust. Okay, so join him at 8:30 tomorrow, and then at 9 o'clock, Kadima Nix and US Wires will take over, and we'll have USY Shabbat tomorrow. We have Minyanim every Monday through Thursday at 7 for a brief period, just so we can do evening prayers and be there for those who are morning or saying Kaddish. There's Taste of Torah every Tuesday through Friday at noon with Rav Sela, and then happy hour Tuesdays at 5, because at 7, the rabbi leads the book club at 8. Wait, let me reset. At 5 is happy hour on Tuesdays. There's so much. And on Tuesdays at 8, we have the book club, and we're now reading Abraham Joshua Heschel's Man's Quest for God. You still have an opportunity to order a Shalach Manot basket for friends and family and people in the congregation. The deadline to order is February 17th. The link is on the TRZ website. Look for a little basket that says Shalach Manot and click there to be part of that celebration of Purim. And then Purim Palooza, which is our COVID-safe enjoyment celebration of Purim, will be Sunday, February 21st from 3 to 6:15. It takes place at 14 different sites. You will play 14 different games. There are prizes, and you need to RSVP to get a map of where these activities take place. There will be a drive-in Purim celebration on Thursday, February 25th. We will sing songs. There will be Megillah plays, Purim plays, and there will be a giant screen so that you can see everything that happens. And then, of course, there's a brief tour of Purim Megillah reading on the 25th, but on Friday, the 26th, we will have the whole Megillah. It will be on Zoom, and the different congregants will read the Megillah as you are used to seeing in years past. Our religious school is selling Passover candy already. There is a link for that in the weekly blast. If you don't find that, you can call Julia Levine, our religious school teacher. And our nominating committee is looking for candidates for the 21-22 Board of Trustees. If you're interested in being part of the board, please contact Aaron Simon and let him know. The Sisterhood gift shop is online, and they're also still selling Torah Fund pins and Torah Fund cards. And please remember to support the food pantry, continue to bring in canned goods or to send in a check periodically. They're currently in need of tuna and peanut butter. Last time I told the joke, it was in person and it didn't go over well, but I will try another tonight. So it's Rosh Hashanah, and the rabbi says to the temple president, I want to give you an aliyah. And the temple president is not very comfortable with religious practices. So he says, this is really not for me. I don't really know what to do. He says, no, you got to do it. You're the temple president. People want to see you get an aliyah. He says, no, it's not for me. The rabbi says, well, you've got to do something. I got an idea. Why don't you do Galila? The president says, what is Galila? He says, oh, it's really easy. After Hagbah, you go up, you put on the breastplate and the crown, and it's as simple as that. The president says, okay, I'll do it. So they have the services and they do Hagbah, and the temple president comes up and he puts on the crown and he puts on the breastplate and he starts walking to his seat, and the rabbi chases him. He says, no, not on you, on the Torah.
Was that a joke, or did that happen once? Was that a joke, or did that happen once?
It will happen next year. God will.
I'd like to see that.
So how many Reform Jews does it take to change a light bulb? Don't worry, this is going to be an equal opportunity offensive joke.
I don't know, Rabbi. How many Reformed Jews does it take?
It takes 5 Reform Jews, 1 to change the light bulb, 1 to recite a new prayer for it, 1 to compose a new song for it, and 1 to accompany on guitar and 1 on tambourine. How many conservative Jews does it take to change a light bulb?
I don't know, Rabbi. How many conservative Jews does it take to change a light bulb?
Pursuant to the bylaws, Article 6, Paragraph 4, Subsection 3, a committee of no less than 13 people shall be appointed to fix any light fixture changes, with members representing the Executive Committee, the Board of Directors, the Sisterhood, the Men's Club, the Preschool, the Religious School, the Building and Grounds, and Fine Arts Committees. How many Orthodox Jews does it take to change a light bulb?
I don't know, Rabbi. How many Orthodox Jews does it take to change a light bulb?
Change? How many Hasidic Jews does it take to change a light bulb?
I don't know, Rabbi. How many Hasidic Jews does it take to change a light bulb?
What's a light bulb? How many Lubavitch Jews does it take to change a light bulb? Plus, you think that the light bulb burned down. The light bulb did not die. This light bulb is in hiding. And when Mashiach comes back, the light bulb will reveal itself again to actually be shining brighter than before. I think I'll quit while I'm behind.
How many reconstructions? We break the light bulb, we put it back together again.
But only a fluorescent, compact, or LED certified light bulb, environmentally friendly. Okay. We'll conclude with
Elaine, in honor of your email.
Adon Olam.
Adon Olam.
Page 211, and the right tune. Whatever the right tune is.
I think the right tune is the traditional tune that you liked. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yetzion Nivra Leit Nasa V'chefto Azay Melech Shemo Nikra V'yacharei Yitlot HaKol Elev Adon Yimloch Nora Ve'u Haya Ve'u Oved Ve'u Yeh V'tifara Ve'u Echad Ve'ein Sheni Ve'amshilo Ve'achmira Ve'li Reishit Ve'li Tachlit Ve'lo ha'oz ve'ha'misra ve'hu eichdi ve'chayro ani ve'tzorcheni ve'tzara ve'hu nisi u'manosli menat kosti ve'yomek rabeyado afkiduni ve'eti sham ve'ahira
Good Shabbos, happy Adar,
Happy Adar.
and Gang Hei Fat Choi.
Yeah, Troy.
Thank you, Cantor. That reminded me
Enjoy your